Some crazy times. Victor Davis Hanson, Senior Fellow, Hoover Institute. And sir, thank you for your time. It's good to see you. You've written a lot, talked a lot about cancel culture. Well, they tried to cancel a former president. They're still trying. We found a story coming up where someone had canceled Shakespeare. And near where you are in California, the schools have taken Lincoln and Washington off the buildings. Where's this going, Victor?
I don't know, but it's insanity. The person who did that, the chairman of the board, is a 30-year-old teacher, I suppose, and her facts that she got from Wikipedia about Jefferson, Lincoln, and others that were canceled are flawed. It's a mass distraction, Bill, because while this is going on, the schools are not yet in session. It's got the largest homeless population per capita in California, highest property crime rate per capita, and people are leaving. It's a construct. San Francisco, that beautiful city, has been a construct of Silicon Valley. Take away that artificial infusion of cash, and there's nothing there, and everybody knows it. And the schools are a semblance of what they used to be. It's kind of a reflection of this insanity that's subsidized by Silicon Valley money. But it's part of this madness that, it's going on right during, we've had this pandemic, this first self-induced recession in our history, the first national quarantine, 90 days of riot and arson, looting, the Capitol incursion, and then this contested election with 100 million voters who didn't vote on election day. And you put all that together, we should be addressing those issues, but we're borrowing $2 trillion as we're right on the verge of going back and having a roaring economy when people get back. We're not talking about the attenuation of the virus. It looks pretty good, actually. That natural immunity, the vaccination, we're getting to the point where maybe 50 or 60% of the population have antibodies of some sort or vaccinated. And then we're getting in, of course, to this Texas story, which is kind of a preview of what could happen if the AOC vision were reified throughout the United States. And then finally, we impeached a president who was no longer a president, and it presided over a chief justice that wasn't there. So it was kind of absurd. And we're doing all these absurdities when there are existential problems. And maybe that's why we're doing them, because we don't know what to do about the real things, so we go to the trivial things as compensation.
Victor, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez just recently tweeted that the situation in Texas, she said, is what you get when you don't pursue aggressively the Green New Deal. So obviously there's a lot to talk about there. Another one of your colleagues over at National Review wrote this morning, he thinks that we're in the middle of a cultural revolution. And I wonder, from your perspective, if we're in a cultural revolution, by the time you realize it, is it too late, or how can we figure out a way to try to stop some of this cancel culture that is endemic?
Well, I think we all know we're in it, but people are afraid to say we're in it. You, me, everybody we know is one word, one look, one wink away from it being destroyed. Right now, there are people at Stanford University that I have to deal with who say that I said something about the election, and therefore it's equivalent to me killing people in the Capitol. But if you don't fight back against that, then they're going to be empowered. Every time a person apologizes or gives a re-education type confessional, then they get empowered and they say, see, we did this. And it's not really ideological entirely either, Dana. I think a lot of it's personal. A lot of people come out of the woodwork in these times of, say, them witch trials or reign of terror, French Revolution. They want that person's job. Their ego gets enhanced. And under the cover of being woke, they do a lot of very dangerous things. But it won't stop until we fight back and are explicit that we're not afraid of it. We're not going to apologize for who we are, what we believe.
Victor, you conclude by saying the common denominator with all these absurdities, an ungracious and neurotic elite whose judgment is flawed and whose privilege is paid for by those who don't have it. Hope you come back soon. Thank you for your